Hello guys, welcome to Dragon Exotics, and though this channel is directed towards informing you guys about the basic care of exotic animals like lizards and birds, I wanted to add the Audible series of all my books. Now some of these books are informative and do surround the basic care of exotic animals, and some of them, like the one we will be starting today, is directed towards fictional books, and hint the name, dragons, so related to dragons for Dragon Exotics. But anyways, with further ado, let's get this book started. Legends Turn to Ash by Faithful Leech. Prologue. Some say back in the day of the dinosaurs, a creature mightier than the earth itself had arisen. Full of majesty and grace, it glided through the skies, fearing nothing. With wings as graceful as the clouds themselves, this creature could fly as far as the eye could see and reach speeds faster than anyone could imagine. As the years went by, more and more of these miraculous creatures began to appear. They were creatures of all different colors and sizes, some as pale as the moon and others as black as night. These creatures could be found anywhere and in every color, from blue to pink to purple to green. Nothing on earth could be more magnificent than these creatures. Some had slim, strong bodies, and others had short, weak ones. Scales covered them from the tip of their nostrils to the end of their long, maneuverable tail. All four of their legs had muscle tone and definition. Not only were they excellent flyers, but amazing runners as well. However, all good things must come to an end. Destruction came upon the world. Lava sprang from volcanoes. The ground began to shake, and stars crashed from the sky onto the land. What was once a paradise had now been reduced to rubble. All life vanished, that is, except for the rulers of the sky, those poor yet wonderful creatures. Full of despair, these creatures, who had lived without a care in the world, were forced to move. They traveled island to island in search of refuge, but one by one the creatures died off. There is only so much truth known about these creatures that came to be known as dragons. The rest is a mystery. As the world grew to its modern day, scientists gave up on the idea that dragons even ever existed. Dragons, creatures once filled with hope and delight, had now become a fantasy and may forever remain one. Chapter 1. Go Away School. Lightning, frightening and terrifying, fills the sky with fear and awe, serves as light in darkness, obeys no one. Fire, intense and irrational, fearless and invincible, knows no bounds, consuming everything in sight. Ice, cold and heartless, destructive yet beautiful, speaks with time itself, always comes back for more. Destruction, lightning, fire, ice, elements born never to meet one another. For the earth will fall to destruction, each made for itself, each with a selfish desire. Never combine these elements, lightning, fire, ice. With these, the earth will die. Ding, ding, ding. That's the bell. Remember, students, you must memorize this poem and write an essay about its meaning by the end of summer for extra credit, Mrs. Freud said. Talk about boring, I whispered to my friend as I was packing up the drawing of a dragon I had been working on. I mean, seriously, I know this is an English class, but we're seniors, so why are we still reading these kid poems? At least we only have one more day left until graduation. Sierra, my friend, answered me with a more hyped than usual tone. Yeah, I guess they can be boring to some people, but I find them really fun to read. Besides, you were doodling through the whole period, so why are you complaining? Seriously, what is with you and dragons? I think you need to know that there's an obvious difference between a hobby and a mental illness. I couldn't help but burst into laughter, and Sierra soon followed with her little giggle. Wiping the few tears of joy from my eyes, I picked up my black backpack and whispered, What? I really can't help it. They're so magnificent. I would give anything to be one, let alone ride one. I wish they were real. Maybe I should just drop everything and go travel the world in search of them. Sierra couldn't stop laughing at my obsession with the dragons. Whisper, I think you need help. Therapy? Psychopath facility? Maybe I should just put you in a straitjacket. Anyway, I really can't wait to graduate, and I'm sure the field trip tomorrow is going to be awesome. I almost tripped while walking out the door of our casual-looking classroom as she said this. Oh, I forgot about that. We're going hiking in the Rocky Mountains, right? Yep, I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. She squealed a bit while speaking, completely forgetting about my dragon problem, which was a good thing. Maybe my obsession with dragons was what made me the odd one out. Sierra was on the smaller side, and I, being 5'8", was quite a bit taller. She would change up her hairstyle often, but she had been sticking with the short, silver-colored hair with purple tips for a long while now. I was curious as to when she would find a permanent hairstyle. No matter the style, though, it looked great on her. She had a habit of wearing brightly colored dresses that flowed in the wind as she walked. I liked to think that her bright colors represented her fun, bright, and bubbly attitude. Nothing ever seemed to get her down. At least, not for long. I, on the other hand, had a mood that was quick to change, and my long, brown, straight hair never expressed my character. Occasionally I would add a small braid on each side of my face to bring some style and personality to my hair, but I wasn't sure it was working. Maybe it was because I was too lazy in the mornings to do much to my hair. Even if I didn't look like it, I always dreamed of adventures. It didn't matter whether I wore a headband, braids, or a crazy style. Being me was good enough. After all, my hair didn't look all bad and my clothing style made up for it. Just the other day I was wearing a maroon shirt with a black leather jacket and jeans. We trotted through the school gate, excited that the day was finally over, and continued down the road to our neighborhood. It was a good thing that we didn't live too far away because I had no clue how else I would get to school. I had a Jeep and a license. My family was still working on it, though, so I couldn't drive. That was okay, because I had the opportunity to walk to and from school with Sierra every day. Our side of town was always beautiful this time of year, too. The trees began to burst with colors, seeds would fly in the wind, and flowers sprouted in magnificent pinks, whites, and blues. It was gorgeous. Every time I walked by, I just wanted to find a patch of grass and lay down, enjoying the world around me with the sun's rays massaging my face. The time came for us to part ways like we did every day and head to our own homes. It was a small neighborhood, but even so, it was a decent walk to each of our houses. Bye, Sierra. See you tomorrow morning. I turned around and yelled as we both began to walk away on the newly redone sidewalk. Bye, Whisper, she yelled back, waving with a big grin on her lovable face. As I continued to walk toward my house, I couldn't help but think about the dragon conversation we'd had earlier. I crossed my arms and put them behind my head. I gazed at the clouds drifting through the calm blue sky and found myself lost in thought. I don't get it. How is Sierra always so happy? I mean, I try to be nice and smile all the time, but I usually fail. Good intentions aren't the problem either, because I really want to help people out and ask how their day is, but I use the wrong words. It makes me sound like an idiot. I'm so grateful that she's my friend. It's weird. Everyone at school seems to either ignore me or look away. Am I really that awkward? Sometimes I really don't understand humans. I entered my small house and went straight to my gray and pink room where my laptop was irresistibly relaxing on my bed. It was about 4, so I decided to hop on my bed and watch some anime. What else is a teenager supposed to do? Play outside? Seriously, who does that anymore? My house was usually quiet since my family didn't get home from their jobs and school until late at night. First, there's my brother. I've never met anyone more annoying than him, but you gotta love him. Then there are my parents. They nag a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean it. But they only want the best for us. Finally, there's the pets. Cats, dogs, and an iguana. Yep, I've got to say I have a weird family. I fit in though, so I think it's all fine. Was this really the life in store for me? My days filled with useless TV, going to school, going to more school, and then becoming a vet? Where's the adventure in that? At some point, I dozed off. Before I knew it, the morning rays of sunlight sneaked into the room and patted my cheeks. I got up on my own, as usual, and put on some jean shorts that came a little higher than my knees. Once I slipped on a baby blue colored shirt, and I put on my navy blue Converse and started out the door. Oh crap, my bag. I wasn't exactly sure how I could forget one of the most simplest of items, but that's what I did. Quickly making sure I had the necessary supplies and that nothing had fallen out, I rushed out the door. On rare occasions like this, I had my hair tied back so I wouldn't get too hot while hiking. Don't get me wrong though, I absolutely hated it. I was in such a rush that I didn't even bother to check the weather. Bad idea. As I started down the sidewalk, I met up with Sierra, and we were both too wrapped up in talking to realize that we had already made it to the school. There was little difference in the surroundings on our way to school, so it was always easy to focus too much on each other. "Oh, cool, look at those huge white buses. I hope those are ours," I said excitedly to Sierra. "That would be so awesome. Let's go check it out." Sierra ran over to one of the supervisors and asked them about the buses. Her expression bounced from happy to disappointment to happy again. "I really wish I knew what they were saying," I mumbled to myself. In the blink of an eye, I noticed her hopping back toward me. "So, are the buses for us?" I asked. "Nope," she replied with a smile. "Apparently they're for the freshmanship. Instead of buses, we get to ride with the teachers in the vans. Fun, right?" I groaned. "You're killing me here." I glanced over at the lines of kids loading into the van, and with an expression of defeat, I mumbled, "Oh well, can't do anything about it now." We headed over there and sat in the back of the van. For the whole drive, my mind was lost in thought. The passing trees seemed to hypnotize me. It didn't take long to make it to the Rocky Mountains, but I was dazed as we walked off the van. Each student was put into different groups, each with different supervisors. Sierra and I happened to get Mr. Jackwell, the PE teacher. Mr. Jackwell was a tall man and had a small ginger beard hanging from his face. "All right, kids, go wherever you want. Just don't get hurt and we won't have a problem. You aren't babies, so you can handle yourselves." "Hey, Sierra, I'm gonna go explore for myself a bit, okay?" I whispered to Sierra, who was surrounded by some of her friends. She nodded, smiled at me, and then continued to talk to her friends. I headed toward the largest mountain and worked my way from there. Each step I took was more difficult than the last. It took some time, but I finally reached the peak of the mountain. I set my bag down beside me and sat down. The mountain faced the town, and the people and students below me looked like tiny ants. The sun glistened through the gray clouds as if to stare at the world. "You know, it's really nice up here," I said to myself, smiling. Below me, a group of students was messing around on a ledge. Some of the guys were grabbing sticks, jumping on ledges, and screaming made-up words. Wish I had a group of friends like that. I bet they're having so much fun. I sighed. On the other hand, maybe I don't. I don't mind being alone. I should really be used to it by now. Plus, it gives me time to think about things. I need my personal time. Even if I wanted to have fun with them, I would be facing rejection. Suddenly, I stopped. "What is—" I questioned myself, noticing a blurred figure in the sky. "Oh, it's heading straight for me." My eyes were sealed shut, and I screamed for my life as something tore my body from the ground. Cold scales scratched my arms, and the wind that felt like needles rushed into my face. "Let me down! I don't know who you think you are, but this—" I was cut off as my kidnapper dived and spun. "Are you trying to make me yak all over you?" I screamed once more. "Sorry, my human friend, but I can't put you down. Orders are orders," spoke a low voice with a hint of attitude. "Seriously? Are you serious? Wait, who just said that?" I asked in frustration. "Why don't you open your eyes?" the voice said, annoyed. Slowly, I opened my eyes and tried to tough out the pain of the wind that was rushing into them. I could only see the sky and gray clouds below me. As I glanced above, I screamed, "No! You're... "A demon? A monster? Satan himself?" the voice echoed in a burst of laughter. My eyes were frozen in both shock and overwhelming joy. "A dragon! Oh my gosh! A dragon is kidnapping me. This is amazing! I mean, well, not the kidnapping or hanging thousands of feet in the air part, but dragons exist. Am I dreaming? No, this can't be right." No, you're a dragon. I can't believe it. A real dragon." I could barely manage to get the words out of my mouth. Its light blue chest and plated belly were visible above me. I was being held by the dragon's sparkling white arms and legs. They were covered with sharp scales and had claws at the end of each paw. Its front feet held my hands while its back feet held my legs. Based on what I could see, the dragon looked triple my size, not including the wings. Quickly, the dragon turned its head to look at me. Well, this isn't so bad now, is it? I had no idea you humans are such fragile creatures. Who the heck are you? To be honest, I was kind of terrified. What's going on? I get it. I must be dead. This obviously isn't real. But if it is, what do I do? I mean, I don't want her to drop me. I would die. Name's Alzora, the last pure ice dragon to exist. What I want to know is who you are, Whisper. Her snobbish attitude remained the same as she glanced at me, annoyed. What do you mean, who am I? You just said my name. Besides, you mentioned orders. What orders? Where are you taking me? I asked angrily. We'd obviously started off on the wrong foot. She rolled her eyes and set her target on a maze of titanic gray rock formations on the ground. It will all be explained soon enough. I couldn't finish my question because something told me I was already at the destination. Alzora gracefully landed and uncaringly dropped me on the hard dirt floor. She pointed her head toward a cave entrance and pushed me forward. Move it. Ow, okay, I'm moving, geez, I mumbled. As we walked forward into the pitch-black cave, I could hear voices further inside. I couldn't tell what was going on, but in the blink of an eye, torches along the sides of a ginormous room lit up. In front of me, a giant black dragon was sitting on the ground looking at his talons and seeming bored. It was a reasonably flat room, but ledges lined the walls, making a sort of staircase. From the outside, nobody would expect the cave to be this large inside. The torches provided a decent amount of light, but not enough to see everything in detail, which was kind of creepy. However, the eerie feel of the room didn't compare to the deadly stare the black dragon shot at me. Beckett, he growled, are you sure this human is destined? A boy of medium height ran out of a small room connected to the cave. His light green, spiky hair bounced as he stood clumsily beside the black dragon. Something about him made my heart sink. He wore a light brown cloak with a gray undershirt and a black scarf that fluttered as he walked. His belt was a dark brown and seemed to match perfectly with his brown pants. As he stood in front of the mighty dragon, I could see something move in his scarf. It looked like a long blue tail. Well, that's weird. I must be seeing things. Then again, I did just enter a room full of creatures that were said to not exist. Maybe I'm hallucinating. Beckett cleared his throat and stuttered. Yes, sir. Everything I found about her is evidence, though I would still like to know what all of this seeking is for. The dragon growled once more. Hush, boy, if she is not the one, I'm putting you in charge of killing the girl. The world must not learn of our existence. Beckett glanced over at me for a split second with a worried face, but went back to his chamber. Say what? I'm so confused. Will someone please tell me what's happening? I yelled in an attempt for attention. Silence. I'm just going to get this over with so I can go back to sleep. Come here, child, he said in a calm, low voice. Okay, I replied as I walked over to him. He was at least 20 times my size and by far the most massive dragon in the room. Along the walls stood dragons of all colors. All of them were trying to see what was going on. Yeah, that's right, Whisper. Walk over to the 500-ton dragon who probably wants to eat you, because that would totally be a smart choice. I glanced to the left of me only to see Alzora sitting next to a purple dragon. I feel sorry for what sucker is going to have her as their rider. She's way too feisty. Alzora whispered to the dragon next to her. The dragon just rolled his eyes and put his attention back on me. The mighty black dragon lifted his hand and gently pressed one of his talons against my chest. The cave went pitch black once more, and a blurred vision full of blood, fire, heartache, and destruction raced through my mind. What in the world was that? Some kind of vision? Well, this just keeps getting weirder. Great. Who are those dragons in my vision? I mean, I couldn't recognize them from the poor quality of the vision, but still, they were rampaging everywhere. Then, on the other side of things, people, like humans, were screaming and running in circles as their friends and family fell into ravines opening in the ground. Everything was falling apart. Maybe I was hallucinating. Yeah, it must be my imagination. Our world was so peaceful right now. I mean, There have been a couple of earthquakes and stormy nights, but no biggie. That vision was completely different from where I'm living right now. A sick feeling tugged at my chest, and I began to feel lightheaded. My head was spinning even more now than it was during my kidnapping. I managed to gather the last of my strength and what I thought to be sanity as I looked at my hand in shock. I could hear muttering that I assumed was coming from the dragons, but I didn't know what to think. From what I could see with my limited vision, a cold blue glow radiated from the back of my hand, and a shape that I couldn't make out had formed in the center. I didn't realize that the black dragon had been holding me upright with his other paw. It took more energy than anticipated to lift and turn my head toward the crowd of dragons. A single dragon in the middle of the crowd glowed the same way as my hand, and the others backed away from her. Her expression was horrified. What the heck? I can't feel anything, let alone move any part of my body. Why is that dragon glowing? I don't understand. What is happening here? I kind of want to go home. This place is freaking me out, and I don't feel so good. I can barely keep my eyes open. I was losing consciousness, and fast, but there was nothing I could do to stop it. I had no choice but to leave myself in the hands of these potentially dangerous dragons. As if my body gave up before my mind, I faded into unconsciousness. This was different, again, though. It wasn't like drifting into my dreams. No, it couldn't be that simple. My body throbbed and my heart pounded. It wasn't until I felt a piercing sensation in my skull and brain that the consciousness abandoned me, the dragon's words echoing through my soul. Alas, the darkness of dragons has arisen once again. The egg cast out so many years ago has grown into a new hatred, new darkness, more powerful than ever before. Can you humans find and destroy it in time, as we failed to do so many ages ago? That is all for chapter 1. Now, I do hope that you will stay tuned for the upcoming chapters, and please leave a comment below what you think so far, any tips, and really just anything you'd like me to know. But stay tuned, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!